Hi, my name is Matthew Hartman, and this will serve as my Exploring What Matters assignment. To start, I want to talk about some of the questions and issues that I'm most interested in. It kind of dates back all the way to when I started college. Cybersecurity was definitely something that I have always been interested in. My family kind of works in technology, so I always grew up interested in technology, computers, telecommunications, and kind of transitioned into cybersecurity as the internet bubble kind of grew. I think it matters to me because I'm a person who likes to help people. Sometimes it can be easy things, just helping someone take something out of their house or being some muscle for someone, but really it comes down to what I can do to make someone's life better. And cybersecurity kind of falls in that realm. While it's somewhat of a stretch, it is something that we're dealing with more than ever in today's world. So I think I can kind of see it on a local and global scale. I always had the idea that I could start by, seeing what demographic is affected by it most. So I'm thinking scams, I'm thinking the elderly. So I kind of, especially in the first GE class, had the idea to possibly try to prevent those internet scams from happening, just starting simple. And then with the, goal that maybe it could turn into something that lasts a long time and could turn into a full on career for me. I think that interest kind of developed just when I started learning more about cybersecurity and reading about it. There's a lot of different assignments and a lot of different tools I was able to learn throughout my years of college. One thing I started getting into as I had some classes that were in the technology programming realm, being that I am an information systems major. I'm fortunate to have done quite a few different things for my assignments and for my classes, so I ended up starting to get into penetration testing. While this was pretty much outside of my curriculum for specific classes, a major thing I started doing to grow in this realm was to do pen testing or penetration testing, which basically what that is doing some simple things in my case, but it's basically trying to hack or trying to get into a company's software or pull some information that shouldn't be out there. In my case, I was able to do it as more of a personal project. So my family owns a telecom business back home, and I was able to go after their website. I had no prior approval, no access granted in the realm of them giving me information out. I did have approval ahead of time because it's illegal to do without it, but it was all on the up and up. But I was able to find some information and actually find a login for one of the servers and database that should not have been on there. It was very simple in the terms of the realm, but it was all self-taught and more of a learning project, which you'll actually see in some of my assets. I'll include the directory scan results that show kind of what I found as my asset, but uh, moving on, I try to think more broadly in the terms of all the G's I've taken that kind of led me there, and I think back to some of the ones that stem even outside of that kind of realm. So I took one that was kind of on the art of war and what the effects of war are across the world. And one thing I did learn with that was that it's a lot different when you go to different parts of the world. So with that being said, a lot of people know about the US's history with wars, but I was able to read a good amount of books and kind of entertain the idea of other places and their background, which kind of brings me to the idea of what GEs really are, which is, just kind of an understanding that it's not always the way that everyone sees it, just being that every place is different, everyone is different, every industry is different. I think that kind of stems a wide breadth and just something that I thought was interesting. Another thing that I think is kind of cool that led me to kind of develop to where I am today is I actually started drag racing, another family oriented thing, but the reason this is kind of interesting is because I always talked about wanting to start a business, work for a business. And this was something that kind of came outside of school. I started racing, And then I saw a need for a device combined with technology that could serve the racing industry. So I've actually been in the process for about a year now developing a company called 1320traction.com, where the basis of the company is I take track data and track results, scan the track, and I'm able to upload them to a server, to a data center. I store everything and I'm able to text the results out immediately and run programs and results and graphs, all the fun stuff that racers can use to tune their cars and see how the track's holding up. It's very much in the beginning stages, but it's something that I've taken on more so as a passion project than I'd say a goal to, be a full-time business. But I do have a provisional patent. I spent a lot of my free time getting to know some of the higher ups in the races, trying to just kind of see what I can do with it. I have a lot of ideas, and it's been a up and down battle, but I think it's one of the things that has been the greatest resource that I have is kind of learning from my failures. I've had very great upsets with it, but I've also finally got it to a place where okay, it's looking like it's a possibility to actually make something meaningful out of this. So it's very much in the beginning stages, but just one of those other things that I think is important to include because it is something that matters to me, and I've worked alongside some other people who have definitely helped me. It's not a just me thing, but my dad's been a big help with that, and he's helping me front run it, so I'm very thankful for that. But kind of circling back, I think it kind of all ties in together because with cybersecurity, the biggest thing was I wanted to help people. I wanted to do something meaningful and try to reshape how the idea of a business leader kind of is. I think that stigma today is kind of harsh. And one thing I've kind of learned through this process is everyone wants to be the boss till you have to be the boss. So I think I've developed a lot of skills in relation to what it takes to do that and be successful. I want to say that I do understand I have a long way to go and a lot to learn, but that's kind of what I want. I love learning and I love being challenged, and that's something that I think going forward I have the opportunity to do. So I'm excited for that, and just kind of all said and done what I'm looking to do, I'm kind of just looking to continue down the path of similarly what the GE courses kind of inspire, and that's getting to know a little bit about everything. It's something my dad always preached. You got to know a little bit about everything to be successful, and I agree with that. So as I continue my work in school and with the 1320, I do plan to still kind of tie in everything. I still love cybersecurity and still do some pen testing for some friends' companies. Very basic stuff, but kind of is interesting to me how everything's developed, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But I definitely feel like I have a better look on what it takes to be successful in the world of business, and I'm excited to see what I can do to do my part. Thank you.